Unmute. How to open? Connect to audio down. Engine the virus connecting to
हेलो पंडा बाबू हेलो
आगे सर
ठीक है
हेलो सर इंद्रकांति सर हेलो
Hello, good morning, Ganesh.
सर वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग सर
Good morning, good morning.
सर
Yeah, tell me, Ganesh. Within few minutes, I will switch on my video. Until that, you just start it.
सर
Indrakanti sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, madam. How are you?
Very fine, sir. How are you?
Yeah, fine, madam. So nice of you because this is the second seminar.
Yeah.
We are together doing this program is excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Involved your PhD student who is the lecturer of so-and-so college.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Daitari sir, namaskar.
Principal is on mute mode now.
Okay.
I am making no
हेलो हेलो इंद्रकांत सर नमस्कार। हेलो हेलो
Daitari sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. How are you, sir?
सर नमस्कार।
Yeah, this is Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar, Usmania University, Hyderabad, sir. Within few minutes,
Thank
I
you,
can switch
sir.
on my video. Just a few minutes.
सर
You can start. You can start, sir.
प्रिंसिपल सर
Principal sir, you can unmute yourself and
now I requesting to principal to conduct to presiding over the meeting.
Good morning to everybody who are taking part in the national webinar organized by Department of Commerce. In this auspicious occasion, we have two eminent personalities who will grace the occasion as chief guest and chief speaker. They are Dr. Chandrakanti Shekhar, Associate Professor, Osmania University, Hyderabad, and Dr. Elena Kanungo, Associate Professor, ACS Autonomous College, Puri. I, on behalf of our institution, welcome, sir, and hope the success of this seminar. Now, I would like to request the HOD of the Department of Commerce to carry out the webinar. HOD, sir.
A very good morning to one and all over here. Honorable President of the webinar, Professor Daitari Rao sir, Principal of this college, respected Chief Guest, Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar sir, esteemed Chief Speaker, Dr. Elena Kanungo ma'am, my dear colleagues, all the staffs of this college, and my beloved students from inside and outside Odisha. It is my privilege, more than an honor, to introduce the dignitaries on behalf of the department. The chief guest of today's webinar is Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar sir, who is an associate professor, Department of Commerce, Osmania University, Hyderabad, Telangana. His MCom, LLB, PhD, and PG diploma in computer application. Under his supervision, 8 PhD are undergoing. He visited Singapore for presentation of a research paper on international ombudsman and got selected as discussant for USA research papers. He is a subject expert and resource person also. He was awarded as Professor of the Commerce for the year 2018 and also the Ideal Teaching Award for 2018. He presented 32 research papers in national and international seminars. He has published 4 books. He is the members in many associations such as Telangana Commerce Association, All India Commerce Association, and the list goes on. He is also successful in executing various administrative responsibilities such as controller of examination and coordinator also. And the chief speaker for the session is Dr. Elena Kanungumam, who is currently as assistant professor in SCS Autonomous College, Puri, Odisha. She is an academician having more than 10 years of experience in teaching, research, and academia. She is MCom, MPhil, PhD. Apart from teaching, she is very active in the field of research too. She has 2 edited books, 3 authorized books, and many publications to her credit too. She has presented more than 40 papers in seminars, conferences, webinars, and workshops. Dr. Elena is an effective resource person in taking teleclasses conducted by government of Odisha. She is associated with various associations such as Indian Commerce Association, Indian Accounting Association, and the list goes on. She is also a registered guide for the PhD under Utkal University. At last, but not the least, let's now welcome the great personality who does not need any introduction as he is very well known among all of us for his knowledge and wisdom, our honorable principal, Professor Daitari Rao sir. Raut is an able administrator and profound scholar. He is one of them who have influenced the students community by showing exemplary character and discipline. We are really blessed to have you with us, and with a very thankful heart, we welcome you, sir. Thank you all. Now, I requesting to our faculty members, Mr. Ganesh Prasad Panda, to introduction to the theme of the webinar.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Esteemed President of the function, Professor Daitari Rao sir, a principal of this college. Esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar sir, my revered guide and my pathfinder also Dr. Elena Kanungo madam, my HOD Professor Gajendra Kumar Das sir, my colleague Mr. Riyasat Khan sir, all the HODs, faculties, and all the participants. It is really a great pleasure for me to introduce the theme of the webinar, that is impact of COVID-19 on business and commerce. As we all know that COVID-19 has become a buzzword in the entire universe now. It has yes, it has affected almost all the spheres of human life, and besides that, the pandemic has very significant economic consequences. All the society has been severely affected, that led to dramatic changes in how businesses act and consumers behave in the marketplace. So from a sole proprietor to a company, from a small village of peddlers to big industrial houses, everybody is suffering a loss. the whole supply chain is being traumatized. E-commerce, MSMEs, banking, insurance, manufacturing sectors, automobiles, international trade, eh, you take everything, those are being dramatically affected. So we can say that a small virus has changed us from globalization to localization. And also, if we talk about the startups, they have also suffered maximum among Indian businesses. So we can say that the overall business environment has become uncertain. Yes, we have eminent guests, and I hope they will be focusing on these aspects more deeply and insightfully. Thank you all.
Now, requesting to Indrakanti Shekhar, Associate Professor to Osmania University, to address us.
Indrakanti sir, please. Hello. Indrakanti sir. Hello.
Hello.
No, no. Indrakanti sir is there. No, he's already with us.
Ganesh, I think you need to unmute him. He is not able to unmute himself.
Am I audible? I think it is clear.
Okay, sir.
Sir, please continue, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Just I would like to share my PPT, then I will start my speaking.
Sure, sir, sure.
My screen is visible to everyone?
Sir. It is clearly visible, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I can congratulate the organizers who are making this program for selecting a wonderful topic, that is impact of COVID-19 on business and commerce. I'm appreciating that the organizers who has taken up this important topic. Nowadays, it is an emerging topic. Every commerce people should understand, every academician should understand what is the effect before and after of COVID-19. This is a good, wonderful topic which was chosen by the Department of Commerce and SG College, Kanikapadu, Jajpur. And the outset, I can congratulate the principal and head department of this college and Professor Dayatri Rautu, principal, and also Gajendra Kumar Das, and also Ganesh Prasad Panda, lecturer of commerce, and Gajendra Kumar Das ji is the HOD of the commerce, and my colleague and Dr. Elena Kanugo, assistant professor, SCS College Puri, and all the faculty members who are participated in this group, and the people who are presented here. I'm very happy that I'm again associating with this particular webinar, which is very current topic. And I think the HOD sir is nicely introduced about me. I'm very happy, sir. And that will look into the topics, what exactly the impact and the impact of COVID-19, business and commerce. If you look into that, the COVID-19 has impacted nation in an enormous way, especially the nationwide lockdown, which have brought social and economic life to the standstill. Now we can see the many people how it was affected and how the national, all economy, all sectoral, how it was affected. We can see the last 6 months how we can experience with this. And there is a multi-sectoral impact of the virus as the economic activity of national have slowed down, as we also know that everybody knows that how it was affected. Sectoral implications, as my voice is heardable. Somebody can respond.
Sir.
Is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Good.
Yeah, you.
So
Okay, sir.
let us go into
Yes,
the
continue.
keywords. How this COVID impact on different sectorial impact. We'll make it a classification of sectorial impact, like tourism, banking, finance, investment, finance, or banking. Insurance, taxation, and all related 40 related sectors, which is very much closely associated with the commerce and the business environment. We need to think which is the more affected item. So if you look into this, impact on tourism is more impacted, as we know, everybody knows. So that the tourism industry is the worst affected due to the COVID-19 crisis internationally. The World Tourism Organization, UNOWTO 2020 estimates, so it is a defect on 20 to 30% in the international tourism arrivals. So this is a major impact throughout the all sectors. If you compare with throughout the India, so it is a major sector. Then FICCI, yes, Bank reported titled India Indoor Tourism, Unlocking the Opportunities, described India as the tourism powerhouse and the largest market in South Asia. Tourism in India accounted for 9.2% of GDP, had generated US dollar 2.473 billions. So it was affected after February 2020, as we have seen many cases in the many countries how it was happened. And if you compare with the 2018, which is the creation of 26.7 billion jobs. So these are all the major effect and major impact how it was happened. So in the COVID-19. So currently it is the 8th largest country in terms of contribution to GDP. It was given in the Jagan Mohan 2020. That was the one article it was given. However, the coronavirus pandemic has restricted international mobility and the revenue generated by this sector will take a major role on the GDP growth rate. It may bring a downfall of 0.45% in the growth rate of GDP. So this is one of the major effects which we can treat how it was happened. Now, COVID-19 impact on the banks. If you look into the banks, because in the financial sector, as we know, banking is a major impact because they are daily lenders in the organized sector. 70% of banking sector debit affected by the COVID-19 impact. A report by the Reserve Bank of India notes that the pandemic has affected the best of companies and the business that were otherwise viable before the outbreak. We can see how it was affected in the banking sector. As we know, in the Indian economical sector, there are many people like organizing, unorganizing, and agriculture and sectors who are like well-established corporate companies. They are all ultimately they are depending on the banking, because banking is one of the measure how financial expenditure, that is the return of investment, how we can get it. At least if you come into the calculation and measurement of finance, when you are invested 1 lakh or 2 lakhs rupees, what best we are expecting back, that is a returns on the investment. We have to look into that. So if you want to take a measurement, the banking sector is the best measurement, how we are affecting on the return on investment and on the credit investment. Everything we are calculating basing on the banking sector. So whatever the banking sector has made, all these percentages have to be calculated based on credit risk assessment, liquidity, going concern, and impact of subsequent events, revisiting heading strategies, adverse impact on specific loan, convent a ratio being triggered. These are all many impact what it is happened in the banking sector, so that the calculation and everything, when we are depending on the banking sector, then it will be giving a lot of information that how the banks are affected on these particular issues. Then if you come to the next, because after banking we have NBFCs, non-banking financial companies. If you look into that, because in Indian sector, not only banks, because it's a developing country, in villages, some districts and some other places, so non-banking companies like chit funds and domestic loans, these are all sometimes we are depending on that. So when we are depending like that, definitely we need to be checked what is the situation of NBFCs. So here the business model reassessment has done because of COVID. Then complexity determining the impact on the expected credit loss, and fair value competition may undergo a change. Market to market loss, depleting and capital. This is all we can say indirectly the investment, whatever the capital invested, then how returns we are getting, what is the return on investment. These are all will be calculated, and it is all badly affected for the COVID. So that we can conclude, because the banking sector, how it was affected, we can understand like that. NBFCs also is affected. The financial sector, how it was affected in India, if you look into that, financial sector impacted temporary disturbance to the distribution of and collection and highly impacted affected sectors. So this is one of the short-term problem. When we are taking into the short-term problem, so this is one of the effect, because daily the financing and refinancing activities is going on in the banking sector. So definitely this is one of the impact. Then medium sector, if you take shift to digital channel, to demonetization effect, increased stress and economic activities. This is all one of the important effect in the medium terms, because when we look into the finance, we are taking up to 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 5 years. This is all different terms of investments in the short term, middle, and long term. So if you look into the long term, step fall rates due to the inflation of deposit and a drop into credit demand, stress in the banking due to the strong industrial down nature, and also business closure. This is all because some of the business, they are all closing due to the COVID. If you look into the retail business, if you look into the hotel business, if you look into the any other service sector like educational or anything, schools or many things are closed. Because of a pandemic situation, we need to be closed, and because of that reason, the return on income is ultimately downfall, and the investment on capital also is downfall. So this is the impact. Indian GDP growth rate in the financial year 2021. So we can see 3 to 5% is in the short term, and medium term 2 to 4%, and less than 1% in the long term. You can see. So implication, tactically mitigation and sustained intervention, structural shift in the policy to industry. The many people have shifted their business, and you can see even in the agriculture, they are all shifting. The people who are living in the towns and cities and urban areas, they are slowly migrating to the villages. It's a reverse. Earlier, the village people are migrating to the urban, but now because of pandemic situation, they are all adjusted. They are all making comforts, and they are making their facilities in the local area where actually they are residing their native places. So that is one of the major impact how the investment return on investment has decreased. And impact on insurance, if you look into the insurance, then mortality claims has increased, and loss of profit claims, and financial and cash flow impact. So this is all a major impact on the insurance, so that the people are not interested to come forward for the making insurance activities and other things. They're all depending on the health insurance instead of the general insurance. Then impact of aviation, if you look into the next item, because after the tourism, another impact, major impact in India is aviation. The aviation sector in India currently contributes $72 billion to India's GDP. So that is the portion, how much portion they are contributing for the Indian GDP. So the foreign tourist arrivals has been down in the first quarter, because as we know, in the February it was affected, January and February. So the lockdown had a significant impact on the arrivals in the second quarters also. So ultimately, the government of India has taken decision that not to allow any flights to India, and not to take any flights from India to other countries. So it is estimated a conservative 25% decline in the contribution of the aviation sector. It will amount to 18 billions. So this is one of the second sector which was very impacted. Then come to the retail sector. The Indian retail industry was worth of US $790 billions in financial year 2019. Then it accounts for over 10% of the country's GDP and around 8% of the employment. So this is two or major important informations which are impacted. And the retail has affected the quarter two revenues. Though retail has impacted, the online retail has seen a very rapid growth, and the market projection has indicated a 30% growth in online retail in 2020. National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agencies 2020, it was given information. That means the direct purchase has decreased, online purchase has increased. So it was increased 30%. 30% effect out there in the online purchases. The people are not physically, they don't want to go for any shops or malls or anywhere. They wanted to take from the Amazon, Flipkart, and other online purchases. So that when it was, the people are trusted, and when they are receiving that, they are making sanitization and they are keeping away for 14 hours, 24 hours. Later that they are using. So that is the reason there is some conveyance facilities, how they are getting these are all goods with a good packing and without any virus infected like that. They are not trusting this online parcels and online purchases. Then impact on micro and small medium enterprises. As we know, because once the finance is affected, once traveling is affected, tourism is affected, definitely the manufacturing concern also will be affected. When the manufacturing concern is affected, ultimately it goes to the micro and small scale industries and medium scale enterprises. So this micro, small and medium enterprises, which have created more than 90% of the jobs in India, employing over 114 million people and contribute 30% of GDP, it was given Radhika Pandey 2020. Are they a risk having the severe cash crisis due to the COVID-19? So physically, we are not accepting the cash and taking transaction of cash and purchasing sales of any goods. And the people who are not working, who are working in the other country, other places, so they are all looking into that, how it will be making employment generation and how the employment is decreasing. When the manufacturing is downfall, the finance is downfall, manufacturing is downfall, ultimately it will affect it to the production. When it is affected to the production, ultimately the employment is reduced, because 90% of the people depending on the small scale and medium enterprises, ultimately 90% of employment indirectly affected, you can see. Sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly it was affected. So that is the reason the GDP is decreased, the per capita income is decreased, the employment, if there is no employment, no income, no salary. So this is all indirectly affected for the GDP. Many of these MSMEs had loan obligation and monthly EMIs to pay. So when the people are not earning, then there is a obligation that repayment of EMI or something is a problem. Many of them have just disappeared since their cash cycle is distributed because of the lockdown. With fixed cost dangling over them, such as situations, they need a moratorium of the loan repayment. They are all planning to repay, but they want to, they are not getting much income in that particular area. So definitely what they are planning is to postpone the EMI, to postpone the some of the income. So that income they are not receiving, postpone the loan repayment. Like that, every people are looking into that. So consumption and investment demand in India, if you look into that, you can see total consumption 2017-18 and 18-19, you can say 70.0, 70.6, and 2019-20, 72.1. Then the percentage of point change in growth rate in 2020-21, sorry, 19-20, you can see over 18 to 20. It was calculated based on 2017-18, because based year we have taken. So 18-19, 17-18, and 19-20. If you took a look into that, so you can see decrease and increase. So 1.5 is total consumption, and government consumption is 0.7, private consumption is 0.8, and gross fixed capital formation is minus 1.2. Gross fixed capital formation, that's our important identification finding. Then net export is 1.1, and export of goods and services is minus 1.3. Import of goods and services is minus 2.4. So looking into this particular table, we can see how the increment and the decrement in the consumption of the goods and investment demand in India. So this is one of the evidence how we can say the impact of investments and other things. Then if you look into the startups, impact of startups, if a new company is going to establish during this time, it's a big crisis. The COVID-19 is crisis to testing the realization of startups in India. The startups have to really across the board funds arising. So there is no funds is not available in the society. The financial sector is downfall. So definitely investment is decreased. Definitely this and the startups are getting a lot of crisis to establishment. So we can see this COVID year 2020. If you take the what is the and the startups before 1920 and 2020, you can look into that. So there's a lot of downfall in the startups. New companies are not coming. New companies are not establishing. I'm talking about Indian domestic companies, I'm asking, and small industries like large and medium scale industries. They are not coming into the this particular year. That's several founders are seeing their business greeting to the health, receivables are piling, and they have to undertake a painful cost reduction measures in their ventures. This is a big problem. So when they have already taken loan and to make manufacturing and to start some production, so definitely they need to be depend on the working capital. They need to be depending on the labor. They need to be depending on the all the facilities which are required for the startups. So when the startups facilities and requirements are not fulfilled, ultimately it will be affected. The government have to make funds available to this sector, as venture capital form may take a little longer to come and support because of the restricted global capital flows. So as ultimately global flow is reduced during this pandemic, of course, now the Prime Minister of India is saying a lot of international money is coming to India. They are very interested to invest in India. That's a secondary, because after some time, after 6 months, it was started making some the changes for investment in India. There's a good habit, a good situation. But earlier, what happened? It is a downfall. Earlier is a downfall. Overall impact, if you look into this, adding with the financial sector, adding with the manufacturing, production, service sector, if you look into that, RBI has released funds to non-banking financial corporations, some of whom provided finance to MSMEs, medium and small enterprises. In addition to that, movement of perishable goods to the armed and these business stare the huge losses. India cannot have real and sustainable growth without having the thriving MSME sectors. So this is all some overall impact which the government have to take some initiation and how it was impacted. The spiraling and pervasive COVID-19 pandemic has disturbed the world's economy is unpredictable. So we can't expect what will be happen, because now we are looking into the pandemic situation. We are looking into COVID, but now the new problem recently it comes, new COVID, the variant of virus in the COVID is coming out. So it is undoubtedly the need of the hour to prepare for a future that it is a sustainable, structural, more valuable for living and working. If you have a surety that if you the future, if you are sustainable life, if you are looking a good life, then you can plan something. If you doesn't have that future, you can't plan properly. That's the reason. So this is all the major things how we can make it into the impact of COVID, and strict preventive measures should be implemented by the industry in order to safeguard the health of the workers. We have to take all the precautions for the pandemic situation. Policy and reforms should be deleted out the government adequately to salvage the economy in industry, civil society, and communities have to equal role in the maintaining the equilibrium. We have to maintain the equilibrium. So income and expenditure and health, we have to look, and the quality of manufacturing. These are all we have to maintain the equilibrium. The risk of a global recession due to the COVID-19 2020 and 2021 would be the extremely high, as it has been observed globally that the shutdown of all economic activities, production, consumption, and trade to control the spread of COVID-19 is mentioned. This is very, very important how we can make the pandemic situation. The recovery in economy depends on the timing and magnitude of the government support, as well as the level of corporate debate and how the companies and markets cope with a lower demand. However, every crisis bring out a unique opportunity to face anything path undertaking in the development of human being, community, and society. So we have to learn something how best we can do that. So COVID-19 pandemic has a clear message for the Indian economy to adopt sustainable development model which are based on the self-reliance, inclusive formation, and environmental friendly. Just this is a major impact issue, because when we are looking into that, you can see if you compare with the other countries to India, India has not much affected and a big largest economy in the world. Then we are having a long-term planning, long-term economical planning, so that we are not much affected economically, and we have sustainable development every time. We have a lot of models which our they slowly, because we are all still 80-70 years we are a developing country. So that is the reason when we are a developing country, definitely we need to check how this economy is sustainable, how it is going on with different plans. And some more one or two points are skipping out because of time is very less. As I'm already set my time up to Ganeshji, up to what time? 12:10, 12:20.
Right time, sir.
Sir,
No. What is the maximum time I'm asking? What is the last
no,
12
no, no.
academic to schedule?
Sorry, you can speak for
Yeah, I will finish up
30
within 5
minutes.
minutes. So yeah,
yes,
no,
yes.
not
Sir.
necessary. I will finish up with conclusion.
Okay.
Because I will tell you all the commerce fatality, all the commerce teachers, commerce learners, commerce professors, commerce lecturers. It is our responsibility. It is there on our shoulders. We need to tell them how the Indian economy is going on, and what is the international economy is going on, what is the impact on the COVID, how internationally affected, how India is affected, then why India is less affected. You have to tell them what is our environment, what is our health levels, what is our physical levels, the how best we are doing our activities like business, production, manufacturing, services, everything. After 1947 independence, we got some 5 years plan of 1951 onwards. We started with the green revolution, industrial revolution, like that, like that, like that. Now we are in the service sector. So 1991 onwards, you can see, and you can tell them, the students also, LPG liberalization, globalization, and privatization, we are experiencing with a lot of changes in the service sector. Because of that reason, income tax has changed, GST has changed, single taxation has changed, service tax is changed, and many VAT and everything. A lot of concepts are coming and emerging, lot of things. And we are the commerce people, we are making all these sectors into our course, like insurance sector, banking sector, financial sector, accounting, all the services. So these are all sectors. When we are making into one particular department, commerce, we have a responsibility that how best we can teach to the society and students, because our colleges, all commerce colleges, should be a self-generated colleges. That means we should have our own power, self-financing power. Now, how do you make that self-financing power? We need to teach, we need to make the curriculum, we need to take autonomy powers of each college, and we have to take our curriculum settings, and we have to take this type of emerging topics like COVID-19, how it was affected for the business and commerce. We have to take up all these topics, and we have to analyze, and we have to give the information to the society, that how India is getting a lot of changes compared to the internationally. If you compare with the India, then definitely our economy is very strong, our people are strong, our environment is strong. Because as in ancient historical information, if you look into that, the men made in India, the men, he started life in India first, because this is a holy land. They, if you go to any country, the people are saying, "Yeah, India is a holy land," because the life is started from in the Indian environment. Then we need to tell them, so our environment is good, our planning is good, our sustainability is good, so our manufacturing, our quality is good. Only thing, we are inferior because of 200 years ruled by the England government. So that is the reason we need to make them, we need to give them information that our sustainability is good, our planning is good, our environment is good, our production is good. We are very lucky that if you go to the Kerala, it is a goddess of land. So we have a lot of spicy food we are manufacturing. Nowhere in the rest of India, nowhere in the world, they cannot manufacturing these type of products. So we are very lucky to have these multiple productions, multiple environmental, multiple languages, multiple cultures. These are all getting benefited to the Indian economy. So that is the reason how we are studying before and after pandemic different sectors, and how it was not affected much, how the Indian economy is not affected much, because of these are all the reasons. Reasons are environment, reasons are very lucky enough of land, and reasons are we are a developing country, like completing our agriculture sector, industrial sector. Now we are in the service sector, we are emerging with service sector. Then service sector, all topics are studied by the commerce students. So if you take a service sector like income tax, computers, if you take accounting, finance, banking, insurance, all like this, management. So all this, if you take 44 sectors which are emerging into commerce subject, so these are all subjects we are studying, and we are giving the information to the students and society, how this economy is developing, how this income and expenditure is levelizing, and how we are making equilibrium of these are all information we can give it to the students, and we can proudly say these are all the developments in the service sector, how these developments is going on. The same way we are also making our syllabus curriculum changing, so that we are adding all these emerging subjects into our subject, so that we are making these are all the important information to the student and society. Because of that reason, particularly in government of India and the state government of our Telangana, you can see So many colleges, 450 colleges, they are running higher education because of commerce. So our commerce curriculum is changing, our subjects are emerging, then our students are strengthening up. If anybody completing BCom or MCom, they are definitely getting some job, some other job they are getting because of financial sectors they are studying. And so many companies which are internationally popularized, they are all coming to India and they are establishing here. If you see Capital IQ is a major company, we are they are suggesting how to invest, where to invest. They are the consultant for the many companies. So those companies are established in Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam, Bhubaneswar. They are extending like that. Capital IQ is one company they are interesting to establish in India. And Deloitte company, as we know, Deloitte is international auditing company. So they are also relating with the commerce students. If you completed the commerce, all this information, all this updated knowledge, COVID, before, after, all this economy, all this information, if you know, then definitely the people are selecting into Deloitte to make many companies auditing and consulting like this. Deloitte is one international company where it was established in Hyderabad. And another company we have Genpact. Genpact is a accounting company. They are developing the accounting softwares, dealing with commerce, taking consultation with the commerce students, commerce fraternity, commerce faculty, commerce professionals like ICW, CA. So these are all the people cooperating and managing, and they are sitting along with the software people, and they are making excellent programs. Without commerce, without accounting, without finance, they can't do this tally package and EX package and Winds. So these are all many packages now. Every small business, if you go to the retail shop, is typing some instrument and getting some bill, and they are typing with computer and they are getting a bill. So these are all how it is possible because of this collaboration with commerce, with computer, commerce with accounting, commerce with finance, commerce. All these people, they are correlated and collaborated so that our service sector is flexing. Now, if service sector is getting improved growth, definitely Indian economy is getting improved. So that is the reason now the commerce is important, and these are all courses are important, and the service sector is related to the commerce, interlinked. And these are all situations how it was happened, biological problems and this virus problem and any problems is coming out, how to overcome, how to make, how to control. These are all the depending on the finance, depending on the investment, depending on the banking, depending on the e-commerce. These are all, if COVID is impacted, the e-commerce is improved. So sometimes the people are depending completely on e-commerce. They are putting all the orders through the phone, through the cell phone, some electronic devices, and they are getting all the products through e-commerce. Without e-commerce, how can you understand? How do you expect it to get goods through courier or some post? So this is one important concept which was contributed by the commerce fraternity. So these type of concepts we have to be contributed to the society so that our service sector has to improve, our sustainability of business has to improve. So because of this particular changes in the commerce education and commerce professionalism, so we are accepting, we are conducting, we are organizing e-commerce and like this many concepts which we are improving our economy. So that is the reason my suggestion, who are participated in this group, in this seminar, definitely you have to understand what is the importance and what is the feasibility and what are the facilities in the commerce and how it is going on through the economy, and what are the sectors we are learning from the different sources have to be understand. And we are the part of economy, we are the part of development, we are the part of Indian economy. We have to be given a spirit, what we can say, intellectual information and psychological information to the economy. We are the injectors. So that is the reason I hope all the teachers is understanding this importance, and all the participants can understand the importance, how the concept, the formula is important. How do you overcome the coronavirus? We are looking into the one important vaccine. That vaccine is a concept. That concept also one of the important concept also, not exactly vaccine, but how the financial maintenance, how sustainability of economy has to calculated through the commerce vaccine. That is the reason I expect all the teachers can understand the importance of commerce and importance of economy, importance of the society now, how the commerce fraternity is providing information and injection to the society have to be understand. And we should improve our growth, and we should improve our strength, and we should understand the student. We have to inculcate how best we can give the information to them, so that they can impress and they can come into the commerce, and they can create wonders in the commerce and in the service sector also. So that is my important obligation, and I hope all the participants and listeners have understand this important information. Hope best. If you have any doubts or anything, you can mail me and you can contact me anytime. We'll share our information, we'll exchange our information, we can participate for our growth, Indian economy. Thank you one and all for patient listening. Over to Ganesh Panda.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay,
you,
sir.
sir,
Thank you, sir,
for your nice
for
presentation.
your nice on the topic, that is the impact of COVID-19 business, how it is the impact with business, how it is the impact with the bank, finance and non-finance, as well as the business, as well as other entrepreneurships, and finally the society also. And you also clearly pointed out that as comparison to other country, how the COVID-19 is less impact with the India people, as well as the country like India. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Once
you.
again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Elena Kanungo, Assistant Professor, ACS Autonomous College, Puri, to deliver his speech. Ma'am, sir.
Before that, Ganesh, shall I share my screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's clearly visible. Please make it on full screen mode. So,
Sure.
okay, ma'am. It is now okay.
Okay. Respected President of the webinar and Principal, SG College, Kanikapada, Professor Daitari Raut sir. Chief guest of the event, Professor Indrakanti Shekhar sir. Convener of the webinar and HOD, PG Department of Commerce, Professor Gajendra Kumar Das sir. Organizing Secretary Ganesh Prasad Panda. Coordinator Yasat Khan. My dear colleagues and dear students. First of all, my congratulations to the organizing team of this event for conducting this one-day national level webinar on impact of COVID-19 on business and commerce, which is very, very relevant and the need of the hour. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, there's some disturbance. Globally, as of 21st December, the data has been collected by me on 21st December 2020. There have been 7,57,04,857 confirmed cases of COVID-19, of which you can see the death rates, right? This pandemic has badly affected everybody's life across the globe. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus disease, more than 1 million people have lost their lives due to the pandemic, and the global economy is expected to contract by a staggering 4.3% in 2020. Millions of jobs have already been lost. Millions of livelihoods are at risk. and an estimated additional 130 million people will be living in extreme poverty if the crisis persists. Let us have a look on the countries which are hit badly by the COVID. I couldn't take the entire picture, so I have taken only some portion of it. If you can see after USA, it's India, where people are, or the economy or the people are badly hit after USA. Now let us have a look on the impact of the coronavirus on India's GDP, which is made, the growth forecast being made by the agencies for the financial year 2021. If you can see, the impact of the coronavirus lockdown in India slashed the GDP growth forecast for the financial year 2021. Among the agencies that estimated the growth, the Bernstein predicted a contraction of 7%. SBI Research, 6.8% less growth, while only a few have said that there will be an expected growth, of which there is Asian Development Bank forcing a growth of 4%. India has really recorded a growth of 4.2% in the previous financial year, previous fiscal year, which is the lowest in 11 years. Now let us have a look on the projected coronavirus impact index by industry and dimensions. Here, on certain parameters, if you can see, it's personnel, operations, supply chain, revenue, and overall assessment. And what are these 1, 2, 3? These are actually the impact is ranked on a 5-point scale. This is actually a survey which was made worldwide, okay, dated March 2020, where the severity is, on a 5-point scale, 1 being the minor and 5 being the severe, right? So if you can see, the manufacturing sector, the personnel, operation, supply, revenue, and overall assessment are severely affected. Travel and transportation, as already discussed by Sir, have been affected severely. Almost all these sectors are affected severely by the corona. Now let us have a look on the estimated GDP, right? Estimated quarterly impact from the COVID-19 on India's GDP for the financial year 2020 and 21. As you can see, the growth is really declining, and in the first quarter of the financial year 2021, we are expecting a decline of 23.9%, which may recover, but still it will be in negative. So from here, we can really estimate and we can predict how badly the corona has hit the economy. Now let us have a look on the estimated quarterly impact from the coronavirus on India in the financial year 2020-21 in different sectors. Many sectors are discussed by Sir. This is just a glimpse. The worst hit is the trade and hotels, okay? The construction, the manufacturing, they are worst hit. Just see the severity. So what conclusion can we draw out of it? This is, the impact is so severe, that is, it has impacted many industries in our economy. India is one of the most affected countries from corona pandemic. The government imposed the nationwide lockdown in late March to combat the spread of the novel disease. And after 6 months of the closure, India has second highest number of cases, as we have already seen. The government though lifted lockdown restrictions in phased manner, but the shutdown in many states is still continuing. So what is the impact of it? Because of this, the loss incurred by enforcing a lockdown in the country was estimated at $26 billion US, and a significant decline in GDP growth is also expected in June quarter of, it was expected, okay. And as a result of this, The Indian economy shrank 7.5% in the 3 months that ended in September as compared with the year earlier to it. The data reflect the deepening of India's seventh recession since at least 1996. Okay, the Indian government has committed $50 billion, roughly 2% of the India's annual economic output, to help small businesses as well as cash transfer to low-income workers. But how far is this going to get the people benefited? That we will have to see in the long run. There is a huge case of loss of jobs. The pandemic has really, it has a wreaked havoc on the job landscape in India. According to the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, CMIE, about 21% million salaried employees lost their job during the month April to August. There were 86 billion salaried jobs in India during 1920. In August 2020, the count was down to 65 million after 3.3 million jobs were gone in a particular month. So you can see the rate of unemployment that has increased because of this corona. The growth rate of the automotive business in India was expected to be the most adversely affected, followed by the power supply and the IT sector. As already highlighted by Sir, many startup, small and medium enterprises in India expected, and they really face the issues of supply disruptions and decrease in demand. Then comes the travel and tourism industry. Sir has already spoken about this. Indian travel and tourism industry is one of the worst impacted sectors by the corona pandemic. According to the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, and hospitality consulting firm Hotel Dept, the tour operators, including both online and offline, as well as inbound and outbound, have lost the job, which amounts to $4.7 billion. The entire value chain linked to travel and tourism is likely, and it has lost around 5 lakh crores. So see the severity. Then have a look on the hospitality industry. Currently, hotels are seeing an 80%. Just see the percentage of severity, 80% erosion in their revenues. Okay, 80 to 85% erosion in their revenues. The hospitality industry, including branded and unbranded hotels, have incurred a loss of more than $19.31 billion. Okay, as per the CII and Hotel Aviate research. Education sector. The pandemic has also disrupted the education sector as people are forced to stay home, and the webinar is the result of this pandemic, I suppose, because unless and until there had been this issue, we won't be conducting the webinar, and there are some positive effects, though, if we are going to take out from the pandemic, that though people are, or the students are made to stay at home, but the connectivity level has increased. Then comes the health sector. Healthcare is the epicenter during this unprecedented global pandemic. The lack of medical investment and healthcare infrastructure are the biggest challenge. Amid the rising cases, lack of healthcare facilities, like there were shortage of beds or lack of protection equipment. So that's why it's causing the challenges for those who were trying to take care of the hit or the people who got affected by the corona. According to a survey conducted by the local circles, which include responses from over 17,000 individuals located in over 211 districts in the country, only 4 patients who needed an ICU bed were able to find one. Okay, when they go through a routine process, while 78% are forced to use connections, and remaining were not getting the bed. So you see the facility that we had and the sector which got affected because of this pandemic. Impact on the street vendors. These are the people who are really the sufferer, because their livelihood is dependent on the food that they used to sell on the street. or the kind of product that is only sold if at all people are coming out of their house and buying the products. So the livelihood of these street vendors was really badly affected because people were forced to stay, and when there are no people, there are no customers around you, who would you sell your product to? So they were the people who suffered a lot. There is a loss of income for the vulnerable sections. The lockdown has really impacted the disadvantaged group to a greater magnitude. According to an analysis by Scroll, during the first 2 months of the lockdown, India's vulnerable sections lost income amounting to as much as rupees 4 lakh crores, which is nearly 2% of the country's annual GDP. Just see the magnitude of severity. Let us have a look on the impact from the COVID-19 on the import of India. If you can see, import plunged by 58.65% to USD 17.12 billion in April, leaving a trade deficit by USD 6.76 billions as against 15.33 billion in April 2019. This is the data which has been collected by the Commerce and Industry Ministry. This is the lowest trade deficit since May 2016, when it had stood at USD 6.22 billions. And let me add a few details to it. Asia's third largest economy is projected to contract by up to 5% this financial year. Merchandise import contracted 47.59% in June. Okay, export also fell down. If you are going to have a look on this, the country's export had declined by 34.57% in March 2020. The decline in export has been mainly due to the ongoing global slowdown, which got aggravated due to this COVID-19 crisis. So, as a result of which, this has resulted larger scale disruption in supply chains and demand, resulting in the cancellations of the orders. After that, the next impact, as I has already highlighted, was on MSME. Okay, if you can see, the MSME were adversely affected. It is the MSME sector in India is the largest employment generator after agriculture, and acts as a breeding ground for entrepreneurs and innovators, isn't it? With considerable support in strengthening business ecosystem. The estimated number of MSMEs in India is 63 billions, which employs 110 million individuals. So, because the disruption that has been, caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the MSMEs, the earnings was affected by 20 to 50%. Micro and small enterprises face the maximum hit. And the problem was the liquidity crunch. Enterprises working in essential commodity business were better off in terms of interrupted but predictable cash flows. So, what the MSME started doing, some enterprises innovated their ways by shifting the focus from non-essential commodities to essential commodities, right? The demand for the hand sanitizer and toiletries increased due to corona, and they started production of hand sanitizers, toiletries, PPE kits, reusable masks, because they are able to survive in tough times. So MSME in the remote area also faced lots of difficulties because of this interrupted supply chain system. All these points that we have discussed mainly shows the negative point of the COVID, or we can say the pandemic. But we need to at least think of something good that has happened to it. The good thing that Sir has already highlighted is the use of online or e-commerce. The pandemic has accelerated the shift towards a more digital world and triggered change in online shopping behavior, which is likely to have a lasting effect. Because when people were asked to stay at home and they have a continuous demand which has to be fulfilled by the sellers without opening the shop, without coming in physical contact or in persons with the customers, is only possible because of the e-commerce. So basically, the COVID-19 pandemic has forever changed the online shopping behaviors. A survey was conducted with 3,700 consumers in emerging and developed economies. Okay, and I'll show you the results of it. The survey entitled COVID-19 and e-commerce examined how the pandemic has changed the way consumers use e-commerce and digital solution. Basically, it covered countries like Brazil, China, Germany, Italy, the Republic of Korea, Russian Federation, South Africa, Switzerland, and Turkey. Following the pandemic, more than half of surveys responded now shop online more frequently and rely on the internet more for news, health-related information, and digital entertainment. The consumers in the emerging economies have made the big shift to online shopping for the survey that has been conducted. There was another survey conducted by the UNCTAD, the Netcom Suzy E-Commerce Association, in collaboration with the Brazilian Network Information Center and Enviari. It showed that the online purchase has increased by 6 to 10% points to most product categories. Just have a look on this. This is the online purchase. The percentage of active online shoppers conducting at least one online purchase every 2 months. You see, people have started adopting the online method of purchasing and selling for almost all the items of their daily usage, like cosmetics, or the digital entertainments, for the food, for fashion accessories, for pharmaceuticals and health, even for the online courses or any other things. The usage of the online medium has increased. We also found that monthly spending per shopper has dropped. Consumers in both emerging and developed economies have postponed larger expenditures, with those in emerging economies focusing on essential products. Just have a look on this. For average online spending per month per product category, okay, if you can see, the expenditure on travel and tourism has been reduced 75%. That means people who are spending more on travels and tourism, now they are spending less because of the COVID, because nobody is visiting anywhere. So the usage of the online medium for these purposes, like for the home furniture or the electronic goods or the fashion accessories, they have reduced drastically. But if you can see, the agro-food and businesses, beverages, and the pharmaceutical health, because people, they demand for the food because they want to survive. They also were dependent on the medicines and all. So for that, the reduction is there, even though in a very lesser percentage. But above all, the travel and tourism, which has been severely affected by the pandemic, people have also, they show that people have, they have stopped using it because they are not using the online mode now. The UNCTAD is the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. The survey of the digital entrepreneurs and the e-commerce platform, which was conducted by it, highlighted obstacles that the developing countries have been facing because of the pandemic. These to supply chain and trade logistics, restrictions in movement, and lack of internet access and affordability. So these are the few things that has been highlighted that these are the problems that the businesses or the business houses are facing when they are using the online mode for making the goods available to people. After discussing the e-commerce around the world, now let me just highlight the e-commerce in India. Basically, we all know e-commerce transactions can be of different types, such as business to business, or it can be business to consumer, it can be consumer to consumer, right? The online business in India today, the online business in today's economy plays a major role in the economy with a market share of USD 950 billions. Okay, it contributes 10% to the Indian GDP and showed a drastic in the employment sector in the financial year, that is 8%. Its major segments are household, personal care, health segments, food and beverages. The factors which drive the growth of e-commerce market before the COVID pandemic include strong and steady growth of internet users and rising awareness related to online shopping, increasing online launching of products, low price due to bulk purchase, many more. In India, one survey was conducted, or there was a report entitled E-Commerce Trend Report 2020, which basically focuses on the growth of e-commerce in India, along with detailing out changing consumer behavior with the industry response to address the newly emerging e-commerce trends. So basically, let me just show you the impact of the coronavirus on the digital payments in India. Because as per the survey, the consumer buying pattern and the preferences have changed significantly with categories like health pharma, FMCG, agricultural. Okay. After the e-commerce resumed its operations in the post-COVID or post-lockdown, we can say, the return rate has seen a dip of 10 to 30% depending on the category. There is increased trend of consumers buying directly from the brand's website. Okay, so the retail brands are now strengthening their online capabilities and opting for different approaches to connect with the consumers. So when they are making the payments, they have to depend on digital methods, isn't it? So if I'm going to show this to you, people have used the digital payment methods more for the groceries, medicines, more for the groceries and medicines, okay, and least for the restaurants, because at that point of time there was restriction, okay. So people were not so much buying goods, or they were going to the hotels and the restaurants for the purpose of entertainment. So these are the highlights that I've already discussed. Okay, this one I have not discussed. One more, the highlight of the report was, the tier 3, all leading e-commerce companies are focusing on cities beyond the metropolitan cities. Currently, tier 2 and beyond cities contribute around 66% of the total online consumers demand in India. And this share is expected to rise in the coming years, because once the people have opted to go online, it is expected that they will continue. Tier 3 and beyond cities witnessed 53% growth, making it to the fastest growing regions. And in this, the top 3 states by e-commerce volume are Delhi, Maharashtra, and Karnataka, and they constitute 65% of the overall consumer demand. So you see, out of negative, these are the positive that we can draw, that these are the things that have impacted positively. Let me now show you the highlights of e-commerce market in India in 2020. If you can see, 71.31% there's an increase in order through e-commerce from April to September. Okay. And since people have opted for digital payment methods, and the most preferred payment method is the UPI, there has been 128.62% increase in refunds. And when UPI is preferred more, the least preferred payment mode are the wallets, the digi wallets. Let me just show you this. This shows how often have Indians shopped online. If you can mark, they have shopped online in all the months except of April. There is a decline. At least this pandemic has made people to go online, to use the online methods. And I have also conducted a survey to write a paper where I have collected these samples of more than 500 people, where we found that people are using the digital methods, of which some are using because they were using it earlier, and some have started using because they cannot go out and there is no alternative, and some are using because government has made mandatory, because you cannot use, you cannot go out. Many of them were not having debit cards, so they don't know how to use it, they can't go out, so forcibly also people were using. Now the outcome is, at least people have started using the digital payment methods. They are now going to use the e-commerce, and will definitely going to contribute towards the growth of it, because if every people are going for online demand, the sellers will grow, the percentage of growth, profit will grow, and the business will prosper. Now let me show you this. How Indians prefer to pay for their orders. If you can see, most of the people, they prefer UPI. Next is your card transfer. Wallet is minimum. Bank transfers are also okay. And after the bank card, there is net banking. This percentage can further increase if people are aware of it, because many people are forcibly using the digital payment methods, but they should be using it out of their will, not out of any force. For any business, the biggest takeaway from 2020 would be the fact that most consumers are no longer afraid of the digital world, whether it is ordering online or paying online. People are trusting online business with big ticket purchases as well as fast moving items. So now we can say that it is a wonderful time to be a dependable e-commerce business. We can say that if every person have started demanding the online purchase of the product, we can contribute towards the growth of the e-commerce business in India. At least the pandemic, the adverse effect of pandemic can be made better off by making business flourish because of the negative impact of the pandemic. And I feel staying at home and not moving physically and meeting the sellers in person is a blessing in disguise, because it is contributing towards the growth of an industry which was not earlier in a flourishing state, which could be because of this pandemic. So I would like to conclude that with the commencement of 2020 and 21, the effect of coronavirus has affected the stability of the economy, not only ours, but economy of almost 150 countries, which has jeopardized the lifestyle, the economy, have impacted the business, people's health. The lockdown is going to stay. I mean, the adverse impact is going to stay, because now also we are hearing it from news that UK is facing some new version of this corona. So you never know when the adverse or the negative impact of this pandemic will go away. Okay, but we need to finger cross. Okay, we should also have to think about the health of the sickening economy by mobilizing the resources and make plans for creation of job and job continuity. So with this, I would like to conclude.
Thank you, ma'am. Your nice presentation of COVID-19 on business and commerce, different aspects. You also clearly elaborate the different sectors which is greatly impact with COVID-19. Thank you. At last, I request
Thank you.
yes to give the vote of thanks.
Respected President of the function, Professor Daitari Rao sir, Principal of this college, esteemed Chief Guest Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar sir, respected Chief Speaker Dr. Elena Kanungo ma'am, Head of the Department Professor Gajendra Kumar Das sir, my colleague Mr. Ganesh Prasad Pandit sir, all the heads, faculties, and staffs of respective departments, all the participants from Odisha and outside Odisha, and my beloved students. A very good afternoon to all of you. It is really a great pleasure for me to propose vote of thanks on behalf of the department. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making the webinar a successful and a memorable one. We'd like to thank our principal sir, who despite his busy schedule has found time to guide and motivate us to organize this webinar. Thank you, sir, for your love and support. We are heartily grateful to our chief guest, Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar sir, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, Osmania University, Hyderabad, for gracing today's webinar. Thank you, sir, for your very interesting and thought-provoking address, which provided new insights that will be beneficial for all of us and specifically to our students. Thank you, sir. We are thankful to our chief speaker, Dr. Elena Kanungo, ma'am, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce, SCS Auto College, Puri, for her excellent speech and deep insights in the topic that she delivered. I think the participants must have noted all the points you discussed, and especially the students will get immensely benefited out of it. Thank you, ma'am, for making this discussion interesting. Now, we would like to give thanks to our respected HOD, Professor Gajendra Kumar Das, sir, for his valuable contribution in this webinar. Without you, it could not have been possible, sir. Thank you, sir. We are also very much thankful to our young, energetic, and dynamic faculty, Ganesh Prasad Pandit, sir, who put his heart and soul to make this function a memorable one. We owe special thanks to the entire faculty members of the department, of different departments, and our non-teaching staff members of this college. We also thankful to all my loving students from this college, participants from other institutions across the country. Thank you. Thank you all. Bande Utkala Janani. Have a nice day. Now the meeting is going to start.
So, dear participants, we have uploaded the feedback form in the chat box. Please fill it correctly so that we can able to give you e-certificate. Please write your name, your designation, your institution's name, and everything, so that you will be given e-certificate. And thank you, Elena ma'am and Indra Gandhi sir, and all other participants for joining with us to make the seminar a grand success. So thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Sir, 80 participants. Sorry, sir. Sorry, ଅଛି ଏପଟେ ଅଛି। Sir,